Spectrum TV, broadening your horizon.
Nigerian police, which is the only one allowed by grossly abused. Our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigerian police force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian police force.
No, my lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My lord, the matters counsel is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord, but we can't be talking about cases which are in court,
Is
my lord.
this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord. These cases are in court, my lord. I'm just reminding your lordship.
My lord, sorry, my lord, I think I'll be in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
Which is the only one allowed by grossly abused. Our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigerian police force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian police force.
No, my lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My lord, the matters counsel is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord, but we can't be talking about cases which are in court,
Is
my lord.
this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord. These cases are in court, my lord. I'm just reminding your lordship.
My lord, sorry, my lord, I think I'll be in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Planet Radio 101.1 FM and Spectrum TV. My name is Anthony. Book and the program you're listening to is Legally Speaking. It's a Friday, 5 to 6. All right, today on Legally Speaking, we'll be looking at two very important issues of law. First of them being the crisis in the banking sector. You go to the banks today, it's online and everywhere. That bankers are having a tough time with their customers as regards to paying them their deposits. All right, so we'll be looking, legally speaking, today at the law regarding the liability of the bank when they fail to pay their customers. Also, on legally speaking, today we'll be talking about the death of the murder of a customary court judge in Imo State. So I have with me in the studio today Hannah Isen. Hannah is a teacher and a regular face on legally speaking. Hannah, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
All right, so we start straight ahead to the murder of a customary court judge in Imo State, Nameka Esquire. The story is that on Thursday, whilst presiding over a phase of the customary court, two unknown gunmen, I think that's the word we're using today, drove by and opened fire and shot him dead straight in the premises of the court. Now, it brings to fore the issues of security of the judiciary officers, especially the judges and the magistrates who have to be handling very, very sensitive security cases like kidnapping, assassinations, murders, and the rest of them. The backlash and the view as to the adequacy of the security paraphernalia that they are entrusted with. So, Hannah, I'm sure you know somebody that's a chairman of courts or something, and that means you're close to that
You
level of.
shouldn't bring that off my knowing somebody who's in the similar capacity. Talking about security of our judges, and you said that the unknown gunman drove by and shot him while he was in the premises.
Whilst he was actually handling the issues of what they call it, administering justice.
That means they didn't drive by; they came into the. Saying that they drove by gives the impression that he was sitting in maybe a canopy, an open canopy, and they just drove by and shot him.
All right.
So that, because I do not know the circumstances of him, but if he was sitting in court and he was shot while he was in court, it means that the killers came into the premises.
Okay.
And did that.
Yes.
But I think I've been to court on a few occasions. Does it not mean that there are police details that are present in courts when the court is
exactly. These are the questions we have been asking. There are certain high-profile cases that you see the security being beefed up. You know, policemen coming, the main of the Nigerian prisons, the correctional center will come with their own weaponry.
Yes.
And they appear to be a tightened up security. But day by day, you really do have criminal matters. And some of them are not just regular criminal matters, but criminal gangs, matters of criminal gang. You understand? So when these kind of things happen, what you would expect is that it shouldn't just be high-profile criminals. Or should just be high-profile persons or criminally exposed persons that should prompt the court or the security system to bring out all these security apparatus. It can be on a daily basis. Okay, some courts sit with one orderly. Sometimes they don't even have an orderly, and that's all they have. The orderly might not even have a gun attached to, maybe a pistol. Now, that's even at the high court level. When you consider the district court at the magistrate level,
yes,
the magistrate level is okay. Sometimes they have one security man, they call it court duty officer, who is not armed, who sits behind the court, at least to escort the court in case of any disturbance. Now, you get down to the district court, I'm not sure they have any security apparatus or whatsoever, except maybe the security man that's hired by the judiciary, who is a civilian guard.
Yeah, and I think that's that case because I do not know. I have not asked the person I know who is in that capacity. Is it within the jurisdiction of district courts to try cases that involves dangerous people?
Yeah, I think especially now that especially now that the jurisdiction of the district court has been so enlarged that it's even higher than that of the magistrate court. There are very sensitive matters that are being handled by the district courts.
Okay.
Land matters have their origin from the district court and jump above the magistrate court to the high court, or the customary court of appeal, and that's where the tussle really is, right? And they have jurisdiction also to try some criminal matters, though not a very high, not murder and yes, but I mean where you have people want to assassinate, passion crimes are basically those landed properties between my father's land and I have to.
Okay, so I'm looking at, we are talking security. Fine, this man was killed while he was sitting in court. So he could have been killed while he was in his way back home. He could have been killed at home. So what level of security do you suggest to be provided for these members of, is it a bench? Call them
the lower bench.
Yeah, members of this bench from the lowest one to the highest. Okay, you've been to describe to me what is obtained in the Court of Appeal.
Okay, generally the Court of Appeal has each of the justices of the Court of Appeal is entitled to an orderly. Is an armed orderly, and same thing happens even at the High Court. Yeah. They are entitled to that. But I think when you go below that, it's rare to have those armed orderlies follow you around, because it's called follow. They have to be with you in your presence almost all the time.
Even at home. They
have to secure. I think even at home, until when you've retired and ask them, okay, you can go. Okay. All right.
So I am trying to imagine this armed orderly that's there with the judge, and somebody that's coming to kill you comes. How effective is that armed orderly?
Okay, you see, for one, sometimes it's not that ammunition that deters. Yeah. The fact that there is somebody that is alert is helpful, right? These people that came on motorbikes could have been 2 or 3, and they know that everybody is defenseless. So you just go to your target, shoot him down, and drive away. Nobody will ask questions. I've been paid to do a job. Now, but a security detail will notice false movements and might attack first. Okay? Everybody that wants to kill is as certain as that does not want to die. Yeah. So the moment they sense that somebody is on them, they will take off. They might also have shot. But because they're in a hurry, they might not shoot to kill. And that would have at least saved their life. But there must be that first aid line of defense. There's a requirement of that first aid line of defense. Let's forget the cost of doing that. It is immaterial compared to the cost of losing a life.
No, why I'm asking these questions because I'm imagining a situation where somebody is because I know that we cannot ask that every member of the bench be given the level of security that is given to maybe a president.
You say no, definitely not. But is there any reason why not?
No, you've mentioned that the courts of the appeal, the judges of the Court of Appeal have an orderly attached to them, and you also said that there are certain cases where security is beefed up. That means there are particular cases where it is expected that there could be the high risk of things happening at court, that they beef up security. Meaning that ordinarily it is just that orderly. That was why I asked, do they follow them at home to the house?
Okay.
Because if somebody wants to kill you, they can come to your house and kill you. These people just chose to do it in court. So when we are talking security, what level of security do we want to be given?
All right. First, if they come to kill you at home, it might be a domestic issue. Coming to kill in the office shows it's related to a matter you're handling or you've handled before, or whatever.
No,
that is why
you're just assuming that coming to your house to kill you is a domestic.
No, I'm not saying it's a domestic. I say it might be. There is a larger chance that it could also be a domestic case. But if they come to court to gun you down, it creates that impression.
Because he's telling someone I know who sits in the same capacity as a murdered person had mentioned that a colleague of theirs didn't have a car, didn't have access to a car, and was using bike to be transporting themselves to work. And I think she mentioned that the bike was stopped and the person was harassed, which was a point she was using to advocate strongly for them being provided with cars. Yeah, with cars too.
Yeah, because you see the exposure of these very sensitive personnel to just any form of movement. When tinted cars were permissible for some sensitive officials, it wasn't strictly because they wanted them to be officials. No, security purposes. You don't know who is in that car. You don't know where he's seated. You don't know if it's his driver. but importantly, you are not in the view of people. Imagine that you're sitting on a bike and those start to stop. Hey, my friend, who are you? Where are you going? What's in your back? You know, it's kind of demoralizing and embarrassing. Okay, so security also would include having the purchased cars for them, you know, government cars and
yeah, but if when you're talking about a car ordinarily isn't that much of a protection.
So no, but at least it helps.
That would mean we are looking at requesting for bulletproof cars.
Not necessarily, but that convenience, the convenience of going to work and not bumping into somebody who's riding the bike and say, when is my brother's case? Hurry up, he's been waiting in court since morning. You are late, so let me hurry. My brother is number 2 on that cost list. Don't worry, I won't collect money from you. I mean, those level of interaction must be curtailed.
Okay, so we're talking about different levels of security here, which still boils down to what I think is when the case somebody is handling, whether it's at the bench, the lowest of benches, there is when you look at the circumstances of a case, it's highly risky. Then security should be increased for the judge at that time. That's what I'm thinking. Because if you're looking at a constant, heavy duty manpower to be guarding these members of the bench, I don't think we can
I know that every bank has security details on it. I don't see why every court would not have security men, armed security men, man the gates. Minimum. Armed security men.
That's what I'm saying. We're talking in terms of just at the court.
At least let's start. Yes, let's start there for now.
All right.
Let's start there first.
For now, at the courts, just like we have security
at the banks,
trained alert security personnel at the bank. Every single court in existence should have alerts
security
ready for anything.
Yeah, minimum of 2 at every point in time.
Okay.
Besides civilian securities that the court can also complement with. All right, let's go to the other topic for the day. We have been experiencing a lot of crisis now at the banking sector. I mean, it is hell. I know there's been this attempt to review the banking policies and monetary policies of Nigeria, but it's bringing untold hardship. Now, for every single building that looks like a bank and probably has a POS machine, you have thousands of people go as early as 4 a.m. to queue up, not to draw money from the POS, but to wait for the POS to be loaded with money so they can draw the ATM, to be loaded with cash so they can draw the little that they are permitted to. I've seen videos where people fight in banking halls, people fight at the ATM machines, people challenge bankers, account officers, that they want cash and they are not able to draw cash. All right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, in law, there is what is called a bank-customer relationship.
Yes.
Every customer now is asking that question. What can I do to these people? Am I at their liberty? Because it appears like everybody is at the liberty of the bankers, at the liberty of what they decide. At the mercy, sorry. I have also even seen where people going, you slot in your ATM cards, you request to take a 10,000 naira, which is labeled on the ATM machine. You punch the 10,000, it doesn't come out. You punch the 20, and right now, understanding in some banks, only the 1,000 naira punch is working. So you go there and you keep taking out 1,000 naira. It doesn't matter what you want to do with money. As soon as you take up to 10,000, you say that's all for the day. And you can't get it out from any other place. Now, the question is asked, is there any relief for the bank customer?
Now, what is coming to my mind is this. I understand that the banker-customer relationship is a contract that's similar to the contract of a debtor and a creditor. The moment you make a deposit as a customer with a bank, the bank becomes a debtor to you. You're the bank's creditor. And the debtor has the liberty to use the money as he wants to use it, as they want to use it. But when you make a demand for your money, the bank is obliged to pay you back your money. That's how it works.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, I have a million naira in my account, and there is a government policy that says I cannot demand for more than 20,000 in a day.
Okay.
How does that work with the law that says when I come and demand, as long as I have the funds in my account, the bank is obliged to pay me what I have requested for?
Okay. Now, when you make reference to that law, I think there's a particular law that it's very explicit on that. If you can give us a read of that law, so we look at it vis-a-vis the provision of the law.
I understand that there is a section 31 of a Negotiable Instruments Act 1881. You explained 1881 is before Nigeria was born.
Yes, and it's applicable to Nigeria up to now.
Okay.
It's been adopted, I think, by 1900. It became applicable in Nigeria as it was in.
Which says that banker is bound to honor his customers' check, provided the following conditions are fulfilled. Number one, availability of sufficient funds of the customer, the correctness of a check, proper presentation of the check, a reasonable time for collection, proper drawing of the check. The one that looks like it's the most important at this time is availability of sufficient funds of the customer.
Okay.
So when you have enough funds in your account and you go make a demand on the bank to give you a certain amount that is there in your account to your name, the bank is obliged to pay you according to that Negotiable Instruments Act.
Yes.
Well, we are having a situation here where you are running around, you have crowds thronging banks, and all the banks all over are saying that they do not have funds to make payment to. Everybody is crying, I've received my salary, I cannot draw it. And we are told that we are expected to just do transfer. So I'm wondering, where are we now with that negotiable instrument?
Now, if you are looking at the screen, you would see these very heavily guarded bank premises, and these are bankers, because they're not uniformed men. They are bankers trying to keep customers out of the bank, and see the way they are pushing at the small gates.
Yeah.
Right now, can you imagine if all the men that are out there decide to climb over and come into the bank?
Yeah, when they come into the bank and they are told that there are no funds to pay you what you're looking for.
Yes, so that's where the question now comes in. What can the customer do?
I understand the contract is an agreement that should be honored. The agreement I have with my bank when I deposit money is take my money, do whatever you want to do with it, but whenever I come to demand for an amount that I have to my name in account, you should pay it to me.
Well, I was coming to that. Now, when the law is that where a customer-banker relationship is very simple. A customer comes in, gives his money to a banker as though he's a lender. The banker is obliged to do anything he wants to do with the money. He wants to give it out, he wants to just keep the money. Then it must be sure that whenever the customer comes,
the agreement is whenever I come, use my money and do whatever you want.
Whenever I come, make it available for me.
Request for my money, you're gonna give me.
Especially when the amounts I'm looking for I'm in good standing to receive that amount. The
it.
law says where you fail to do that, the customer is entitled to damages from you for a breach of contract. Now, in the present scenario, one would want to think it's an exception to the rule. But when you looked at that rule, the rule has not said bank registrable instruments law has not said that where there is not sufficient funds in the bank is not liable. It's not an excuse for the bank to say, we don't have sufficient cash to pay you. The CBN has not given us sufficient cash to pay you. That's not an excuse in law.
Yeah.
Because the law does not appreciate sentiments. The law looks at itself.
To contract that you
yes, you've entered into a contract. It's a presumption that this contract is binding on you. Yeah. It's a judgment. Okay, it's like now, because the same scenario could happen where I take money from maybe a partner, a loan agreement, and in that loan agreement I promise to pay back by the end of June.
Yes.
By the end of June, I've not paid my salary. Yeah. Does it mean that my debtor, my creditor is not entitled to his money? He is. If he goes to the court, no matter how much I plead that I have not been paid salary, the court will not look at that. The court will look at the fact that you are owing money and you have failed or refused to pay. And the due date having come and passed and gone, the creditor is entitled to damages. So that's the same scenario that is playing out.
Yeah.
People are thronging the banking halls, some of them with checks, some with the ATM cards. For the purposes of the present scenario, ATM cards amount to a check. Whatever form of request for withdrawal of funds, even the counter checks, they amount to it. So that is what.
Even the withdrawal slips.
Withdrawal slips. Yeah, withdrawal slips and counter checks.
From your deposit account.
They all amount to demand for my credits in the bank.
Yeah.
So all these issues that are happening around the banking halls are actually actionable issues. They're actionable issues. So where a bank sits down and presumes that, okay, unless you pay, since the CBN said we shouldn't pay you more than 1,000 naira a day, do they have that policy? Already, the CBN is saying we have pushed enough money into the system, so customers go and get your money, right? So that's exactly what is going on now, right?
I understand that what is happening in banks is bankers are claiming that they do not even have money to meet. So it doesn't even have anything to do with the CBN policy.
So, like you said they don't have anything to do with the.
Yeah. Well, what's the policy right now? I think it said that you can withdraw up to 100,000 over the counter daily as an individual. How many people are able to walk into the banking hall today
and even withdraw 10,000
and get 100,000 of your money?
Now, can CBN amend the contract of parties by arbitrary pronouncements?
Well,
so
they want to answer that.
Yeah, because the CBN governor wakes up in the morning and says, as of this morning, no payment across the counter, everybody abides by it. Yes, the CBN governor, by law, can make regulations to govern the administration of the financial institutions.
Yes.
All right? But can those administrative pronouncements counter the position of law or agreement of parties? Because if the parties enter into an agreement based on that position of the CBN Okay, it's a central bank policy that we don't pay you more than 200,000 naira pay withdrawal. And everybody understands that.
Yes.
It is well and good.
Yes.
But if yesterday I drew 200,000, I come back today to draw 200,000, and you tell me no, you can't draw 200,000. In the first place, I can be sued by the drawee, the person I gave a check to. You can sue me for a bounced check.
Can they?
Yes, they can. The only defense I will have is a breach of contract.
Is a condition for a bounce check not when
there's no availability of the cash? That's part of it. That's what I'm saying. That's the only defense that I would have. But ordinarily, it is wrong for you to issue a check. But of course, sometimes people issue checks, and it's done because their signature is irregular.
Okay.
Not all the conditions were there. You know that you have fund and you don't want this person to be a beneficiary of that fund, and you hang him there. Right?
Well, that's not what we are looking at. We are looking at this situation where you have money and you go to place demand as is happening now, and that demand is not being met because there is no money in the country as we're told. And we are looking at that contract that we had with our banks when we gave them our money, and what has this situation has made of that contract, right? And you say that there's remedy for
a customer
for a breach of contract. So tell us the remedy. Maybe we will wait and we will do class action. All the customers, we will go and.
Yeah. When you look at the screen, you see very disappointed bank customers. Some of them standing in a queue. That queue can remain there for another 4 hours, and the ATM machines are not funded. Right? Now, this is not a regular relationship between the bank and its customer.
Yes.
This situation the customers have been forced into this situation because of the policies of the bank. Now, at the time of making the contract between the banker and the customer, was this policy? Hello, let's take this call. Hello. Please, if you can speak louder, I'll be grateful. Sorry, we're not hearing you. Please, if you are trying to call, I'm not sure if the numbers are on the screen. Oh, all right. Okay, let's go on. Please, if you're trying to call, when your call has been picked, please try and be audible. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, we are hearing you now.
Hello? Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Sorry, there's a hallback. Can you step away from your radio or TV set? So we can hear you properly. All right. Yeah, please, like I said, if you're trying to call, when your call has been picked, just step away from your radio set so that we can effectively communicate. All right. So,
you were talking
yes,
about,
at the time of making the contract.
That policy was not there when the customers entered into a contract.
Yes.
With,
so the intervening factors now was not anticipated. And it's not fair for one to want to load those intervening factors on the customers.
Yeah, hello. Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Very well.
This is Basha Book, right?
Exactly.
Okay, good afternoon as well. Yeah, Hannah is in, right? Yeah, good afternoon as well.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Okay, I'm Levi Bassi. So I'm Levi Bassi, straight away calling from Osama.
Levi, welcome to the show.
Yes, Levi Bassi from Osama here in New York. Happy New Year and Happy New Month. I think this should be the first time getting to speak with you guys
Yeah,
this year.
that's true. Happy New Year.
Yeah, just listening to you guys, I was just laughing here, right here at home. People are queuing up. People can't get money. People can't get cash. People are queuing up for PVCs, queuing up for even petrol as well. And people are here playing grammar. People are going through excruciating economic challenges. People can't feed. They are hungry. They're impoverished. And you're bringing up and you're quoting your law. You have a right to do this and do that, blah, 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 blah. You can't blame the people for, going through this, however, quietly without taking all those legal actions you have been recommending so far. Whereas it is the responsibility of the CBN who came up with this, some people say lofty policy but poorly implemented, who came up with this policy or plan in the first place to hammer to descend heavily on the commercial banks and sanction them appropriately. They have been shouting, they have been ranting, making all sorts of empty, useless threats that have not materialized to, principal sanctions. They're going to do this, they're going to do that to the banks, and nothing has happened so far. So what do you expect the people to do? It is the CBN, right? They are supposed to either revoke their licenses or sanction them, and just and see how they can, align.
All right.
They are businessmen in the commercial banks, and they simply do business with the politicians who are requesting for this humongous amount of money.
Levi Bassi.
For some lucrative, exchanges. You don't blame them. It's the CBN that has failed woefully.
Levi Bassi. Levi Bassi.
Yeah.
Are you at the bank right now?
No, I'm not.
Are you at the filling station right now?
I think there's a place.
Are you at the gas station right now?
No, I'm not.
Are you collecting your PVC right now?
I can't really get you clearly well.
Are you collecting your PVC right now? On the queue for PVC right now?
I can't hear you. I'm not in the bank.
All right, sorry about that. I think there's a poor connection. Anyway, we are trying to get across to people like you that are not at the bank, people like you that are not at the PVC collection sector, people like you that are not on the queue to buy petrol, that you have a right you can enforce. Nigerians just want immediate reaction and actions. And legally speaking, is saying it might not be immediate, but you can still have a remedy. If you go to the bank and you put in your check and you are not paid, you sue that bank. Let the bank come and blame it on CBN. They have insurance cover. The insurance can cover for their loss. Do you understand? All right, thank you very much, Levi Bassi. It's a pleasure hearing from you in this new Naira era. All right, for those listening to us on radio, if you want to call, the numbers to call be 090-222-31011. I repeat that number, 090-222-31011. The alternative number to call will be 070-454-17707. Hello. Okay, I repeat that alternative number, 070-454-17707. All right, so Hannah, Levi has made a very strong appeal that CBN should be corrected, but he has not added the legal aspect of whether CBN can be sued or not sued for causing the mayhem that's happening in the banking sector.
He's not interested in suing. He says that when you're talking about suing, you're blowing grammar.
Okay, so suing is blowing grammar.
Yes.
All right. So yeah, let's even ask that question and answer it. Hello. 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 This is Legally Speaking. Yes, you're on to Legally Speaking.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. You're on to Legally Speaking. Your name and where you're calling from. Are you still online, sir?
Can you hear me?
Excellently. Very well. Go on, sir.
Can you hear me, please?
We can hear you very well. Go on, sir.
Excellently. Very well. Go on, sir. My name is Pastor Adoy Daniel.
Ade Daniel, okay. Where are you calling us from?
My name is Pastor Adoy Daniel.
Go on, sir.
I'm calling from Umaya, Abia State.
You're welcome to the show.
I want to share my ordeal that I had today at the bank.
You're welcome. Go on.
The situation at the bank today is not palatable at all. And if it continues like this, Nigerians may end up fighting in the bank every day.
Go on, sir. We are listening to you.
Even to effect the transfer. Was not possible. Even the transfer was not even possible. I went with my check to even withdraw. I couldn't withdraw to effect the transfer. And you need to just see the level at which people are fighting at the bank today. Only they do to get money, their own money that they have kept in the bank. The situation is so appalling. I left the bank without withdrawal today, not even a dime. I don't even know what my family will sit on today.
And what was the excuse?
Please, the government need to do something. The government need to do something.
All right, thank you very much, sir. I think I've got to your point. It's a very sad situation. It's not just imagination. I don't think the CBN thought through their policy and the way of implementing that policy. It has wreaked hardship on people. You see, now nobody has talked about people that have died because they have not been able to afford a simple drug or even food, right? Because it's a policy that is in jumbles. We are not going forward, we are not going backward, we are stopped. I strongly recommend that people start to do things legally about it.
Yeah, now that you mentioned the transfer, I'm also thinking this transfer of a thing that keeps on failing. Is there no contractual basis to it?
No, the transfer that fails is the same thing as a check that has failed. I have credit on my account. I have seen it and I'm trying to transfer. Okay, if you're saying it's a cashless policy, I'm actually trying to go cashless. Why is my transfer not flying? It's not enough to say there is pressure on our bandwidth. It's not enough. It's not an excuse in law.
It's your bandwidth because you have a contract with me.
Yes.
When I demand for money to be paid to me or to a third party, you pay. That was what you agreed.
Because when you listen to that pastor, he said, my money. That's the painful part.
Yeah, that's
I'm not coming to beg you for handouts. I'm telling you that I have 10 million in my account and I'm trying to draw 100,000. And you're frustrating me. What are you doing? The money was for purposes, and those purposes have not been attained. Is there no legal remedy for it? And the law says there is. If I sue my bank for refusing to pay that amount, the bank is liable to pay back that money and pay damages on it. So when you look at a crowd that is lining up in the bank, and if all of them have cases against their banks, then you know what will happen. Hello. Hello, you're legally speaking.
Yes. Yeah, I would like to discuss with them on the money changes.
Okay, go on, sir. We are listening to you. You are our last caller for the day.
I can hear you, sir.
Yes, you go on. We are hearing you.
Okay. The problem with the money changes is so embarrassing because I'm from the United States and they do change money, But as long as the old one is the same money that is going to replace the new one, well, I don't see any reason why people should not be able to spend money or retrieve money from their bank account.
Yes, you need to tell us your name and where you're calling from, sir.
So what?
Your name and where you're calling from.
I'm calling from Kogi State.
Okay, your name, sir?
You say what?
Your name.
My name is Dean.
Being from Kogi State, all right. Thank you for calling in. I appreciate your call. I appreciate your call. Yes, see, that's where everybody also angles on. We've changed money before in Nigeria. At least in my lifetime, I've seen 2 or 3 money denominational changes. But what baffles me is why this particular one is so problematic and it's so distressful to the entire Nigerians.
What I understand is that the deadline extension meant that the old notes are still legal tender until 10th February. What I do not know is if banks were given instructions not to pay the old notes again till 10th of February. Even if they were, it doesn't explain why you go to the bank to ask for your money and you are not given.
Hello?
Let's take this last call and round up the show. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Good evening, sir. Your name and where you're calling from?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Andrew. Calling you from Edo.
Go on, sir.
My name is Andrew Samuel. Calling you from Edo.
Please, can you make a contribution?
Yes, sir. My contribution is based on the problems that the problem in the past. We are still here.
You are still at the bank.
You cannot withdraw. No, now I've come back.
Okay, you've come back.
But you see the same thing. Nobody can withdraw.
All right. Okay, thank you very much. We are really rounding up the show now. We really appreciate your call and we sympathize with you for the pain and trauma the system has caused you. We hope by this time next week everything will have been settled and we will have a very beautiful conversation going forward. Well, Hannah Isen, that's the size of the program today. I know you have money in your house and you did not queue.
I have money in my house. How do you know I have money in my house?
Well, I can't be a psychic sometimes. So I know I can see on your face that you're not under any financial pressure.
Oh, really?
And I wish you stay that way till next week.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
All right, gentlemen, at least I happy with Hannah Isen. That's the size of Legally Speaking for this Friday evening. My name is Anthony, a legal practitioner with Law Partners and Associates. And I wish from now till next week when we meet again, everything you do will be legal.
Which is the only one allowed by grossly abused. Our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the Constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigerian police force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian police force.
No, my Lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My Lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
he linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not. My lord, the matters counsel is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord, but you can't be talking about cases which are in court, my lord.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord. These cases are in court, my lord. I'm just reminding your lordship.
My lord, sorry, my lord, I think I'll be in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for